Good evening, everybody. I wanted to briefly talk about chapters 5, 6, and 15 and about the information that I gathered from them. Chapter 5 talked about selecting a topic and a purpose, about brainstorming. It taught us the difference between a general and a specific purpose. General purpose would be anything that's not narrowed down. To me, a specific purpose is you make a point. Like you talk about something that's certain. So you have to be certain when you're making your purposes and avoid being general because it's not going to effectively relay your message to your audience. Talked about avoiding figurative language, the questions to ask yourself before you're preparing to deliver a speech to your audience. Talked about central ideas, making sure we form complete sentences, and it also taught us how to make an outline before delivering our speeches. Chapter 6 talked about analyzing the audience, and it reminded us to keep the audience in mind, make sure we remember our demographics when it comes to our audience, avoid stereotyping, analyze the situation when it comes to talking to your audience. We have to adapt to certain attitudes within the audience as well. And it told us questions, or it taught us about questions that we could possibly ask the audience to gain feedback. And to me, that makes it definite that they're actually listening to you when you ask them questions and they can give you feedback. Kind of intrigues the audience, makes them a bit more interesting, especially if you're stating facts. Chapter 15 talked about the different type of speeches there are, and speaking to inform. You have object speeches, concept speeches, and event speeches. Event speeches are anything that has happened, or an event can be defined as anything that has happened or is going to happen. Chapter 15 also talked about avoiding abstractions, personalizing ideas, being creative, and relating to the audience. So I gathered a lot of information from chapters 5, 6, and 15. They actually taught me a lot as far as preparing speeches, because the first speech that we delivered on last week, I actually was new at it. Like, I've never delivered a speech before. So, of course, I had a bit of anxiety, in which we learned about that last week. But I'm glad that I'm further learning information, in chapters 5, 6, and 15 taught me a lot that I needed to know going forward as far as preparing my speeches. Hope everybody has a good night.